All right, howdy everybody. With this one, I wanted to kind of explain some of the homebrew rules that I enjoy, as well as some things that are very Dungeon Master specific, and of course, Rule Zero. So for homebrew rules, I thoroughly enjoy that, death is not the end of your character. Your characters can die, sure, but there should be fun ways for your characters to come back. Whether it even be as NPCs, future enemies, or just, if you really, really like your character, you should be able to talk to your DM and be like, hey, I really like this guy. Can we try to find a way to bring him back or not kill him? Stuff like that. And any decent DM should work with you with that. Now for the less nice ones, I found that rolling nat ones and nat 20s didn't feel like the criticals that they should. So I started playing as if you roll a nat 20, it's the max damage you could roll times 2. So, for example, as I typed on here, 1d4 plus 3 would be 7 times 2 is 14, giving that oomph that you're looking for in a critical success. Of course, that also means that the enemies can do it too. So if an enemy rolls a nat 20 on you, they're dealing max damage doubled. As for nat 1s, a lot of DMs will make it to where, like, oh, you throw your weapon, or something breaks, or, something like that. And that's fine, but I felt that could get a little repetitive. So I started doing that if you roll a nat 1, you blunder so bad that enemies can take their reaction for an attack of opportunity. And then same vice versa, if an enemy nat 1s, you can use your reaction to provoke an attack of opportunity. And I found the people I play with thoroughly enjoyed that because it added another layer to combat, as well as kind of just the occasional random chaos that a lot of people like, instead of just, okay, I take my action, bonus action, that's it, action, bonus action, that's it. It was one of those fun things where, like, they just rolled a nat 1, and everybody would just jump on it and be like, I want to roll attack of opportunity. Found it was really, really fun. And then one that I can't claim to have come up with, but Matt Mercer, resident DM of Critical Role, in an interview once said, if there's a rule that causes players not to have fun, it's not worth holding on to. And I find that exceptionally true, because D&D should be fun, and it should be fun for everyone. And granted, most of the rules in D&D are very loose, but even then, I think that any DM should work with their players to ensure that their players are having fun. And then some Dungeon Master specific rules that I have, the ones that I like. Um, so for long resting, there is typically, I'll drop this down. Oh. So if you look at long rest, it says up to 2 hit dice, or you can click this, reset maximum HP charges during this rest. I like that. I like it to where you're starting a day fresh. Um, the next one was max health for leveling. So if we go into here to say that we're leveling up, as you can see, the hit dice are 5d8. So some DMs will have you roll that, and that is what your health is. Or you can just take the max. And I prefer the max so much more because, one, it's less scary, and two, you can always just deal more damage to the players. So I find that just to be a little bit better overall, and it's just easier because then you're not having to keep track of rolling and whatnot. And then we got experience versus milestone for leveling up. And every time I will go for milestone. Every single time, without fail, I will do milestone. Because, say, a player can't make it to a session. If you're doing experience, now they're behind. You know, it's something that it'll create a rift or a gap between your players in terms of how strong they are, and that's not something I enjoy too much. So I'll go milestone every time, and then you can kind of just control how they progress through the story. Now, there is one rule that always needs to be stated, and that's Rule 0. The DM is the almighty force in the universe. And what that means is the DM is the yes or no to everything. Now, there are power hungry DMs, and if you get one of those, I recommend you talk to them. And if they don't want to budge ever, maybe find another group. But this being said, that if a DM says something, the session should not continue with an argument. You know, what they say should go, and it does go. You know, bring stuff up to them after a session, talk to them, or talk to them before a session, so that way everybody has a clear picture of what expectations are. But if something happens and you don't like it, that doesn't mean sit there and argue with the DM the whole time. So yeah, these are the rules that I prefer or want to bring up specifically. You know, there's always the thing of like, oh, well, it's a rule that I only have one action per turn, whatever. That's not what I wanted to talk about here. I just wanted to share some of my favorite homebrew rules that I have ran that I have found players really enjoy, as well as my preferences when it comes to other specific rules such as these, and as well as touching on Rule 0, because that's something for a lot of new players. They don't really grasp that, you know, the DM is basically God. So, yeah, with that, hope you guys have a good one, and see you in the next video.